channel.
What it do, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Iron Rounds, and we are continuing on our tournament 4 or 4th tournament, Assassins or Hit Person tournament, if you want to call it that. And today we are having two interesting characters going one-on-one with each other. We're going to have Jason Bourne from the Bourne franchise going against James Bond from the 007 franchise, Daniel Craig's James Bond, just so we're clear. So let's talk about the origins of the two. Let's start with Bourne. Bourne gets rescued in the middle of the ocean, having no idea where he came from or who he is. He eventually gets the pieces as years go by back together, but before that he starts realizing he's kind of skilled in certain things that he is very unusual, like he memorizes license plates, he can fight people in hand-to-hand combat, he knows what to do in very intense situations. Like, he starts realizing he's no ordinary man. Eventually, as time goes on, he realizes he is responsible for a program that is designed to stop terrorists, and he is the guy who trains people in espionage in every aspect, in every way, and he was the guy who was the creator of it. So yeah, Bourne finds out he was actually a special agent, and he was trained to take out terrorists throughout the world and other people and so on and so forth. And that's the brief origin story of Jason Bourne. He didn't want that life anymore. Now let's get into 007 Daniel Craig. Now, Daniel Craig, as a young man, he gets recruited by MI6. MI6 is pretty much the spies for British people, the espionage guys, you know. So they train him in every aspect of espionage known to existence, and they train him to be one of the best and the best. Of course, Bond was a troubled child, and he grew up to be a troubled man. So it's fair to say that he continues to be a troubled man, because as he continues on missions, he kind of gets attached to certain people and loses them in the process, so on and so forth, kind of becoming very troubled man. But yeah, this troubled man is one of the best espionage spies out there in existence, and that's a brief origin story of that guy. Alright, so let me talk about the 3 rounds we're going to have going on here. We're going to have range first round, second round close up, and third round get it done. Before anything, if you enjoy our videos and you haven't already, share, like, subscribe, turn on your notifications to get the latest episodes. Alright, so let's start with round 1, range. Okay, so let's talk about Bourne first. Bourne, he is not an easy target. If you've seen through the first and second movie, he shows that, you know, there have been people with snipers that have an advantage over him to take him out completely, and he doesn't let them have that opportunity, that opening, because he realizes things in advance. He's a pretty smart guy. So range wise, if he's in a far away fight against Bond, and Bond happens to have like a sniper rifle, which Bond does have one of those special weapons. I think he took out a guy on the first movie because of that. I can't remember if it was the second one, but anyways, beside the point. At the end, but Bourne doesn't make it an easy target. So he will most likely, even if this was a range fight, he most likely would cover himself in ground, protect himself through some certain walls and everything, like cover himself from being an easy target to be shot at. And at the same time, let's not forget that Bourne will eventually get himself close enough so he can get a pretty decent shot on you. So he still would create the distance and still be able to take the shot in. He just needs a little more of a closer range than the usual far range shots. Now, granted, if you've seen in the movies with Bourne, he's shown that he can shoot certain angles, but he doesn't really show his sniper skills ever. I mean, there was this one time where he shows that he can sneak up on you and have a sniper rifle on your face, but that doesn't mean anything. He didn't shoot it or anything. He just pretty much just shows that he can get the upper advantage on you or sneak behind you, but there wasn't any moment where he shows that he's like a really excellent sniper. But between Bond, however, now let's talk about Bond. Bond, he did show throughout the franchise at one point in the scene, I think it was the first one, where he takes out a guy who took out this girl he was in love with, and he shot him with one of those really long range rifles, and then he got close to his face holding it with his hand and everything like that. So he shows that he is a pretty excellent sniper when he wants to be and when he needs to be. There was an incident where he shows in the fight, I think it was in the Quantum of Solace, where him and this guy were fighting in some kind of place that was getting restructured or being rebuilt, and the guy was trying to get his gun from like a high level place, and Bond was tied up with his ankle wrapped on a rope dangling. So he had the reaction time think super fast. He had to quickly grab his gun, look up, aim his gun at a different angle, not like a straight up forward shot like we're normally used to, or a downward angle. He was upside down shooting this guy, shot him while the guy still had the advantage to be lower down where he could shoot him down from above. And you know, above shots gonna shoot better than below shots. So imagine the range between that. He grabs his gun, and Bourne still manages to take the guy out at the last possible minute, getting that real precision shot. So between the two, it's clear obviously that Bourne has a better shot at taking out Bourne before Bourne can get a really good one in. Even if Bourne gets close enough, Bourne still just has that precision shot and quick draw to get it done at the end of it all. So I'm going to give this round to 007. Okay, round 2, close up. Now, between the two, you already know they're both skilled. Let's be real. Like, if you've seen Bourne took a man out with one knee kick, high knee kick. Bam, he just did it. One high knee kick, he did that. Don't forget, Bourne did that. Like, in one of his movies, he did that. Like, so there's evidence to prove that James Bond can hold his own against someone like Bourne. Now, Bourne, of course, he also showed his impressive skill too. I believe it was in the 3rd or 4th installment, where he took out somebody from Siberia. He took him out with one good punch, just bam, whammed him, knocked him out. So he shows that he also has some very special one-hit moves that he could take somebody out with a deadly hit. Between the two, yeah, obviously both were trained in different skills. One was trained, I believe, in the CIA American style special ops tactical skills, and the other one was trained by MI6 British intelligence tactical skills. So both have a very unique set of fighting styles, and you could say that one could overpower the other or something like that, maybe, or maybe they have the same similar fights, so there's no way you can actually tell which one's going to be able to overcome the other one. That being said, who would actually win a fight between the two of these guys without a gun? And it's just one-on-one, mano-y-mano, because let's be real, both of them can probably shoot each other if they wanted to, but at the end of it all, I think it's going to come down to a fist fight. And I do think that Bourne might have this one a little bit better, because Bourne doesn't just try to go for some really, and explain why, because Bourne is kind of a aggressive, quick, get it done type of guy. He's just full in your face, while Bourne is kind of more of strategic mind, which means he'll try to figure out a way to bleed you out, tire you out, weaken you, maybe break a bone here and there, so that way it makes it much more of his advantage than it would be of yours. With Bourne, it's not like that. Bourne would just immediately come at you with brute force, try to take you down, try to eliminate you completely. Bourne would figure a way around that. And if you've seen throughout the fights, Bourne has lasted a lot longer in fights compared to Bourne. Bourne usually tries to get it done quickly. Bourne, however, he had to last in a fight without a lack of oxygen during a battle. So he's proven that he can continue to fight on even with the lack of energy, with the lack of air to do it, meaning that he, at some point, if he even gets choked out by 007, eventually Bourne would be able to bleed him out or take him out before Bond can get it done. So I give this round to Jason Bourne. All right, final round, round 3. Get it done. Now, normally you've seen kind of a pattern. If you guys haven't watched the other previous playlists, please do, of the previous tournament of the other Iron Round competitors, because I do kind of make certain points with characters in the 3rd round that gadgets usually sometimes the upper advantage in a fight, because obviously when you have the latest gadgets to help you, not only are you skilled and tactical, not only are you brilliant, and not only do you have skills in weapons or range shots or marksman, you're also capable of using the gadgets to get that one upper advantage. It'll always give you that upper advantage. That's what I said. In this case, it's not the case. And in the previous 007s, of course, there are all these millions of gadgets that you can probably say, yeah, he could use that and that. But if you watch this 007, I've seen maybe 3 or 4 movies, Skyfall, all of them. I haven't seen the latest one, but I have seen those ones, or the one that came out before, not too long ago. Didn't see that one. That being said, I don't think he usually watch in the whole franchise. The only two gadgets I've seen him use is the car and a fingerprint gun. Those two are not enough. I mean, the poison thing that he has in his car is not really anything he can use against someone like Bourne. It's really no advantage. I mean, it helps him with an antidote, but there's no poison in the car. So let's talk about it. 2 gadgets, the fingerprint and the car. Fingerprint, the car, let's start with the car. You can eliminate the car by either creating a large barrier, like a broken bridge or a giant wall or something impossible to penetrate, a small environment, or even going up and up levels gives Bond's car a disadvantage. Obviously, it would take time for the car to get somewhere or to be somewhere for Bond, and you use it at an advantage. So you eliminate the car out of the equation. And even so, Bourne is still an excellent driver. So I do believe that him in a race or drive against Bond, I think he's going to outmaneuver Bond, because Bond has been shown to be excellent in some skills, but he has a gadget-sized car that can help him in a moment's notice compared to Bourne, who just had different variety of vehicles. Now, the second point, fingerprint gun. It might help Bond if Bourne gets the gun and doesn't realize that, it's not being able to shoot. But after all, it's not one of those explosive guns or burns in your hands or anything like that when you touch it. So it's really not really anything. Bourne can just take the gun away and just use his hand to go mano a mano with Bond. The two are obviously very excellent skilled fighters. Two are Bourne marksmen. So I already made the case between the two when it came to the first round and second round on that. So fingerprint gun out of the equation. Gadget car out of the equation. And take some time to get there. Now, Bourne and Bond, this I think would be the fight. It'd be a wild goose chase. And I do believe not only skills, but intelligence is going to come to the factor in this fight. Now, why did I say that? Well, because between the two, who runs better? I know, you're like, what? Yeah, I know. Okay, now Bourne has been known to be one of the best escape artists out in the franchise, because he's always finding a tactical way to get out of a situation. He's always trying to move around it, get around 100 or like a swarm of police officers or a swarm of people who are spying on him and cameras and everything. He still manages to maneuver around them almost every single time, and he always thinks on his feet. He's always thinking on his feet, no matter where he is. Even if he's not in his country and he's in another country, he still thinks on his feet. Now, with Bond, when it comes to a chase, that's not the case. He's just a bloodthirsty man when it comes to a chase. He's just going for the target, and he'll do whatever it takes to get to the target, even get shortcuts. But he's not looking at his surroundings. He's not being aware of where he's around or anything like that. He's just going through and chasing the target. Now, chasing Bourne is a problem, because Bourne is the type of person to create several diversions in every situation to get the upper hand. That's where Bond is going to be his ultimate doom, I believe, in this fight, because Bond's just going to go in headstrong, and Bourne is going to think strategically around. He's calculative, so he's going to calculate around how to get Bond in a corner where he can take the advantage, or build him down, or have the upper advantage against him, or sneak attack, surprise him. Either way, Bond's not going to be able to catch him in time before he gets the upper hand, because Bourne is going to create all of these barriers around Bond, where Bond's not going to be able to catch Bourne figuring out where he's going to move or what he's going to do next, where he's just going to keep impulsively running and chasing after him until Bourne gets the upper advantage, where he catches Bond without having Bond not seeing him coming, and then bam, just get the clear shot, or get a couple stabs in, get him in the chest, anything, or do whatever he has to do against Bond. But either way, he still has the upper advantage to surprise Bond, and that I do believe Bond is not prepared for. So I'm going to give this round to Jason Bourne, giving Jason Bourne the next round to go on to the next tournament, or the next round to the next tournament on this fight. But if you guys agree or disagree, I'm going to be putting out a TikTok poll soon. I'll put it on YouTube to make the announcement when I'll do that. And the TikTok poll will determine whether or not you guys agree with me. If you guys agree with me, you will vote Jason Bourne. Jason Bourne will move on. If you guys disagree with me, you guys will go and vote for James Bond, and James Bond 007 will move on. And as always, no press fam, we really appreciate you guys. Catch you guys later. Peace.